And let's go. Here we go. Dive into G Fest. Godzilla Fest is our topic that we will speak on today. Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Conley Mr. C Dives In channel. Here we go. So, yesterday we were out here speaking on other business. And today, here we are speaking on G Fest. I feel like there's a lot of stuff for me to get caught up on. MIB, if you're watching, I'm going to take your patented move and having a little coffee. Having a little coffee during the show. I'm not in the museum that MIB is in, but I'm in the dive-in studio here, ready to speak on G Fest. Okay, so for starters, this is my first time attending Godzilla Fest, and it is in the same facility, the same hotel, the same convention area as is Flashback Weekend. So, spoilers, hints, and Chai Star G, if you're going to ask me when's the next live, we should be back Saturday, this coming Saturday at 5 p.m. to speak on the Flashback Weekend. But right here, let's dive into the Godzilla related business. All right, first thing I see when I walk in the door is some cosplay and there's two stacked there. But think about whoever did this, whoever put this together. They made they made the commitment to walk around on the convention floor, sacrificing comfort. Right, this person's not wearing Crocs and comfortable shorts and a t-shirt. I mean, this is a sweat accumulating labor of love. So the endurance that whoever this person is went through on the day, let alone the hours, the many, many hours that went into crafting this costume for cosplay. Look at this. This is some serious Godzilla representation right here. That's you can see I was walking in the door early in the morning, and that was the first thing that caught my eye. And that was pretty impressive. Now, this one here, I consulted Dave of Terror Dave. I consulted our Ultraman expert, Chai Star G. Chai Star, if you're in the comments and you recognize if this is an Ultraman villain or anybody who's viewing at any point in time, if you're able to identify who is this character, this is an unbeknownst character to me. But let me say, same business. This person committed, went all in on wearing this suit through the day, and how many hours must have gone into putting this together. It's a very well done piece. So besides costumery, also there were other expressions of Godzilla things. There were panels, there were tables for sale, there were vendors, there was art. So let's take a look at this. As you can see to the scale of the door, I would call this a giant size, a kaiju size, if you will, representation of Godzilla. Don't know who the artist is, but man, just look at that. The use of shadow, use of fire, a pretty innovative interpretation of the pink off of the back, and a very conventional depiction of the face and the side profile there, and the lumbering laboring. Here comes Godzilla. I should say this also. Most of what we're going to speak on today, most of what I'm going to show in the pictures, is that which was actually at the Godzilla Fest. But there are a few things that maybe coulda, shoulda, would have been a real cool way if these other things had been at Godzilla Fest. So we will give those things a little highlight in a couple of minutes here also. Again, a Mecha Godzilla. Look, because now this person, same as the others, had put in the hours, had put together the thing. I think we got an actual light down there in the abdomen area. Again, very impressed that people go all in and put together the costume just this way. So now we got Mothra, and again, thanks Dave for helping me. Maybe it was baby moth. Would this be a larva? Would this be a pupa? I'm no scientist, but I tell you what, it's again, I don't think there's someone in a costume in here. I can't. There's definitely some light up eye feature. Again, all the hours and all the effort, the total expression of being all in on being a Godzilla fan. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Over here, again, plenty of t-shirts, plenty of figures, plenty of things for sale. This one's a little blurry. My apologies for that. But again, the variety on the colors, the variety on the items, pretty neat to be able to see all this stuff. Again, what you'd expect at conventions and fairs, a whole wide variety of items and stuff. Here were some smaller, more intricate pieces. This is again, everywhere you turn, there's more to see. There were figures, there were posters. Now, this one, Blackheart Models. I don't know if it's still a Twitter bird or if it's still letter X now, since the time I took the pictures. But here we go. To now, of course, it wasn't pure Godzilla stuff. They also had some non-Godzilla items. Just yesterday, as we were looking at Alex Ross material, we were looking at the Green Goblin. So here we see the Green Goblin depicted without the goggles that Alex Ross has him wearing. But again, talk about impressive sculpting here. I mean, this each of these pieces is amazing to me. So again, like the other conventions, if you're at a sci-fi convention, there'll be some other things. If you're at a comic convention, you can see some Star Wars or Star Trek or Doctor Who kind of stuff. So it's neat that there's convention crossover. And let's jump back more into speaking of Star Trek and Khan right there, and the Gorn up in the corner. Uh, Little H.G. Wells time machine with some Morlocks there, a little mummy in the corner. Now, here we go. Shogun Warriors. As Fanboy G on the Fanboy Cantina channel had just illustrated, he was just at a shop that had some real good Shogun Warrior pieces, and also in the Madison, Wisconsin store of Meepertons. Easy for me to say. They had the full set of the 5 Shogun Warriors. You can see 2 or 3 here and there, but just anyway, really cool to have the interplay between Godzilla and the Shogun Warriors. And let me jump a little bit ahead to there's good old Rodan art, the same size as the previous wall. So here, included in the Shogun Warrior set back in the 70s was an adapted Godzilla Shogun Warrior. This is a piece that Fanboy Cantina, Fanboy G still has. Again, the firing fist didn't make all the sense in the world, but the flaming tongue was pretty cool. And that somebody built this out to scale and inclusive of the triggering device in the back of the neck to make the fire breath operate. All this stuff was really impressive. It was a real good time. Had a lot of fun with it. Again, a totally different kind of a sculptor here. And as we said, there are intersections. So now here's Ultraman, who was a TV guy, not so much a movie guy, but going against, a guy in a suit, a character in a suit going against other characters in suits. And back in the day, definitely we were catching the reruns of Ultraman and Spectreman and the Flying Giant Robots and Johnny Sacco and all of it. All that stuff came out of the Godzilla verse, or all that is Godzilla stuff adjacent. Again, they had some panels. I know one of the conversations was on the Mushroom People movie, and of course there was a full variety of other discussions going on. Now this guy, so right, we were looking at some hard. Please don't touch this guy. But what? Look at that, an inflatable. So again, if you're a company, you can put together all kinds of blow up yard ornament art kind of stuff, but like this thing, I don't know who put it together, but just take a look. It's so well rendered. The colors are vibrant. It's solid construction. Everything about the Godzilla Fest was really cool. So BNG Fantas over here, and then they had like villages. They had dioramas. That part and parcel to kaiju movies. You got to have something to get stomped on. I was not familiar with Dojo Studios, but just their sign in itself is enough to keep my attention. That's a pretty cool thing right there. And I was seeing, so the people that were coming and going on the convention floor, how do they get in and out of the costumes? So that's one thing I learned by standing in this room at this time. So you have a rack, a wooden rack on which you rest the costume a little bit, and that facilitates the entry and exit process of wearing a life-size kaiju suit. I have again, if anybody out there is viewing and you're able to identify this character, please do let me know. Whoever it is, it's a really well done piece. Looks great. Again, display room. They had the signs, and oh wow. So again, this, as you can see, was, I don't know, was he 6 feet, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch? He's a big, tall Godzilla rendition right there. And then these were smaller table-sized pieces that were all of them really, really impressive. And let's just scan through them Little bit. Okay, Godzilla versus Kong. That's a little bit of foreshadowing to one of the. Look at the rage. Look at the. I mean, so cool. So cool. All right, there. This one's got some blue electronic or not electronic, but some blue fire breath, atomic breath. Uh, Variety of colors, variety of characters. So okay, here we go. One of the things that I've been waiting for, and the delay date, the release date on this book keeps getting pushed back, but I'm super looking forward to now. It's supposed to be due out in roughly a month from now, but I really look forward to, and I really would like to pick up this Godzilla and Kong uh, art book. Richard Bennett is the person who put that together. So that's a it had a one release date, then it was a little delayed, then it was delayed again. So they've got me on the hook. I'm anticipating and looking forward to when it comes out. Okay, so a couple other things that could have, should have been, and then I'm gonna flip over and to do the share screen. And so I would say this is more like uh, I'm a non-Godzilla expert giving a review, but then we're gonna take a look at the pages of well, I should be cautious with the word expert, but let's say somebody who's better versed in Godzilla than I. So we'll come to that. So, okay, first thing, woulda, coulda been cool had this been at the convention. Now, this is a Godzilla shirt here from Sumo Fish. This one came to me by way of Fanboy G, a Fanboy Cantina, but you can see it's a San Francisco setting. You got the bridge there, you got the cable car, and Godzilla's doing what Godzilla does, is wreaking havoc and taking care of business in the best of ways. So that's the one thing. Let's say the book was the first thing. That was the second thing, and definitely last, but definitely not least, maybe most importantly, through your Etsy, Nicole Hoff, Godzilla and Barbie. Like this would have been great had this piece been somewhere at one of the tables at Godzilla Fest. Look, I mean, again, as we previously discussed on this channel, when Nicole was on as a guest, this is such a well constructed image. She got into explaining all of how she set up the backdrop and everything. And one of the things to recap from that uh, is that it's kind of open to interpretation. Either Barbie's kind of putting the brakes on Godzilla and ending his rampage, or maybe she's ready to hold hands with him and have a night out on the town, and she's gonna go tear up the town together with him. So I definitely wanted to revisit Nicole Nicole Hoff off of Etsy on the Godzilla stuff. Okay, so that's my convention business. But now, as I mentioned, let me come to share screen and easiest with two monitors. Okay, that's great. It's easiest with two monitors. So let's look at day one as depicted by Dave on his blog. And again, as was yesterday with the Marvelocity, uh, the actual book would be a whole lot of content and take a whole lot of time to dive into. So, as is the case, it would take a whole lot of time to dive into and going word by word and picture by picture. But again, look at it, the first picture Dave's got up here is the conventional. It's not Barbie out here this time. It's Kong versus Godzilla in the classic battle. And again, I encourage people to look at terrordaves.com. We're just giving kind of a sample platter here. Uh, Dave was taking some different pictures compared to the ones I took, but each of them, now this one, Reptilicus. Hey, that's a great look. That's a great name. Reptilicus definitely deserves a seat at the table. Uh, Look at again the variety of characters, a lot of good history from the mid 50s and on. Okay, this picture I had approached from a different angle, but you got to have the representation of Shogun warriors. Look at this guy. Okay, so there's some more stuff available to see. And then I didn't even realize that. So at the Pickwick Theater, which I have spoken of on this channel some time ago, you could actually go see the movie, and it's not too far away from the convention center. So any chance to get into the Pickwick is a good thing, I say. And now let me see, is this one okay? Day two is right over here. So let me come back over here and go back to share screen and go for now it says day 1 and day 1. How did I do that? All right. Well, okay, here you go. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to last day, and I love it when I mess up preloading the stuff. But here we go. Let's go to G Fest last day and share. And if you want to see day 2, head on over to terrordaves.com. But again, look at this stuff. I mean, there were some panels that Dave had attended. Uh, as you can see, other wow. Again, the people making art, people making costumes, people making figures, all with a high degree of. Oh, there's a little creature of the Black Lagoon sneaking in, and definitely some Japanese influence, as Godzilla, of course, does hail from Japan. Oh man, again, look at the explosions on this and the lighting. It, I tell you, it was well worth being there. It was well worth attending. So, again, if you want the full deep dive, please do head to Terror Dave's blog. And Dave is definitely more knowledgeable about the Godzilla uh, verse than I am. Oh, that's such a great shot right there. 2A. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, let's recognize Dave's camera work here as something special. Let me come to stop sharing, and then come back over here. Oh, we got some comments, so let's check. Let's check comments. All right, Dave has to say, Dojo Studios is headed up by Paul Gavins, who's stunned. I'm stunned. The attendees were stunned with the Mecha Gods. Oh, back to 2004. Okay. G Fantas is the official mascot of G Fest. All right, well, we got to be careful of our legalities, right? Here we go. Great. Well, yeah, and this is the Sumo Fish shirt, and it's a really fun, right? So there's all kinds of Godzilla stuff out there. There's shirts, there's costumes, there's figures. There's, if you're trying to be more Godzilla-ish or more, invested in your comings and goings with Godzilla, there's a great variety of ways to do that. So again, whoever was taking a look, whoever was along for the dive in with us today, thanks very much for coming around. Thanks to Dave for viewing and posting, and thanks to Dave for doing the work he does on his blog. Uh, we'll be back next Saturday with a review of Flashback Weekend and I put a review of the Svengoolie comic, but as far as some people who were there with me on the day of it getting signed, which was, it all weaves together, the Friday that Godzilla Fest had started was the same day of the signing of the Svengoolie comic. So we'll be back next week to speak on the signing of the Svengoolie comic for a few minutes and to give a full dive into Flashback Weekend. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. This has been Mr. C diving in, and we are out.